Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Good morning. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Hare Krishna, Suvinaya Nityananda Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Today we are very happy to have the association of His Grace Suvinaya Nityananda Prabhuji. He will be sharing Bhagavad Gita from 4th Canto, 24th chapter, 43rd verse. The topic is chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please start.
Okay, thank you Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I will share my screen. Let me know once you can see my screen.
Yes, Prabhu, we can see your screen.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'd like to thank for starting all the devotees and ICC Temple Management for giving an opportunity to glorify Lord and His devotees on this great occasion. With that, we'll start today's class. Narayanam namaskrutyam naranchaiva narottamam devim saraswati vyasam tato jaya mudirayet ashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistuki mukam karoti vachalam pangurlangayate girim yatkupatamaham vande shri gurum dinatarinam paramanandamadavam shri chaitanyam ishwaram. नमो विष्णुवादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. Okay. So we'll be reading today Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, Text 43. So Chapter 24 is Song of Lord Shiva, the Rudra Geet. So the most important songs that come in Srimad Bhagavatam, along with is taken along with the Gopi Geet, Rudra Geet, and even Bhumi Geet. So all kinds of geets come in Srimad Bhagavatam, and this is also one of the most important geets. Songs. Okay, we will recite the shloka. Shakti Traya Sametaya Vidushe Ahankratatmane Cheta Akuti Rupaya Namo Vacho Vibhutaye. Again repeating the shloka. Shakti Traya Sametaya Vidushe Ahankratatmane Cheta Akuti Rupaya Namo Vacho Vibhutaye. Word to word meaning. Shaktitraya, the three kind of energies, Sametaya, unto the reservoir, Vidushe, unto Rudra, Ahankritatmane, the source of egotism, Cheta, knowledge, Akuti, eagerness to work, Rupaya, unto the form of Nama, my obeisances, Vacha, unto the sound, Vibhutaya, unto the different type of appearances. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. My dear Lord, you are supreme controller of worker, sense activities, and results of sense activities, karma. Therefore, you are the controller of body, mind, and senses. You are also the supreme control of egotism, known as Rudra. You are the source of knowledge and activities in Vedic injunction. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Everyone acts under the dictation of ego. Therefore, Lord Shiva is trying to purify false egotism through the mercy of Supreme Personality Godhead. Since Lord Shiva or Rudra is himself the controller of egotism, he indirectly wants to be purified by the mercy of the Lord, so his real egotism can be awakened. Of course, Lord Rudra is always spiritually awake, but for our benefit, he is praying in this way. For the impersonate, pure egotism is Aham Brahmasmi. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. But in its actual position, spirit soul has devotional activities to perform. Therefore, Lord Shiva prays to be engaged both in mind and in action in devotional service of Supreme Lord according to the direction of Vedas. Again, I'll read important one. Therefore, Lord Shiva prays to be engaged both in mind and in action in devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead according to direction of Vedas. This is the process of purifying false egotism. Cheta means knowledge. Without perfect knowledge, one cannot act perfectly. The real source of knowledge is Vacha or sound vibration, given by Vedic instructions. Here the word Vacha or vibration means Vedic vibration. According the origin of creation is sound vibration, and if sound vibration is clear and purified, perfect knowledge and perfect activities actually became manifest. This is enacted by chanting Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus, Lord Shiva is praying again and again for purification of the body, mind, and activities through the purification of knowledge and action under pure direction of Vedas. Lord Shiva prays to the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that his mind, senses, and words will all turn towards devotional activities only. Hare Krishna. Amatnyanatimirandasya dhyananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri. So before deep diving into the shloka meaning and the purpose, just for my purification, so we'll see the background of why Rudra Geet is sung, or why Lord Shiva appeared for Pracheta, even though they were not worshipping Lord Shiva, and he guided them onto the spiritual path. So why does Shiva appear to guide Prachetas? So if you look at the background, so it is a Vaishnava quality, and Shiva being a perfect Vaishnava demonstrates this quality to the topmost. So a Vaishnava quality is to proactively help all the people who are not seeking spiritual path also to come into spiritual path. But here, Prachetas were already seeking the spiritual path. And they had taken the instruction from their father and going on, left the kingdom and going towards west in seeking the divine, that is Lord, in seeking the Lord. And seeing this, their eagerness, their sincerity, and their cooperativism. The brothers, there were 10,000 of Prachetas, were not one or two. They were 10,000 of people cooperating with each other for getting to the Supreme Personality Godhead. Seeing this, Shiva becomes very happy. Shiva is already known as Ashitosha. He becomes satisfied very, very easily. So even if you offer him just bilva, the 3 leaves, or water on his deity, he becomes satisfied for that, and he doesn't think twice in giving his devotees what they ask for. We have seen many instances where Shiva himself gets into trouble by giving what they want, but having full faith in Supreme Personality Godhead, hey, that God, the Lord is there to take care or save. So here, Shiva becomes satisfied seeing Kachetas going on seeking the spiritual path. So he immediately appears them on that sarovar or the reservoir. So in Bhagavatam, we have seen examples where automatically or proactively devotees like Narada Muni appears in Uttanapada's palace once Dhruva Maharaj is chastised by his stepmother and decides to go into forest to seek the opulence. What opulence? Even Dhruva didn't know what opulence he was seeking after. But Narada Muni immediately appears there and guides him. Dhruva did not pray, hey, Narada Muni, come. Right? No, but it's a Vaishnava quality. Saw the potential of a small boy, and Narada Muni appeared to guide Dhruva Maharaj. Similarly, when Parikshit Maharaj was inquiring everybody, only 7 days had to there to me to live, what I should do. Then Sukadeva Goswami, who never comes to any place actually, and stays such a long time, 7 days and 7 nights is a long time. He stays only for a moment. But here he comes, he appears in that place and recites wholly the Bhagavatam. So this is a Vaishnava quality. We should understand Vaishnavas are always forefront in helping the Jivatmas or the spirit souls in going back to Godhead, in guiding them. So with this, we understand why Shiva appeared. Some might be wondering why Shiva appeared. Even so many people are praying, but why Shiva appeared? So this gives the background that Shiva is a Vaishnava and it's a Vaishnava quality to proactively help people who are seeking a spiritual path. And why does he sing this prayer? Actually, if you see the prayer holistically from 33 all the way up to the end of the chapter it goes, but I'll cover what is covered so far. So Shiva is actually offering obeisance to Lord in form of Chaturvyuha. So various predominating deities. The 4 Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma rotates among the hands, the 4 hands of the Lord. And each presiding deity represents an element and purifies that element. And Shiva is singing that. So we have seen that text 33 to 36. So he sang the song and purified 4 components, that is Antakarana, the Chitta, Ahankara, Buddhi and Manas, the subtle elements. The Chitta is consciousness, Ahankara is the false ego, Buddhi is the intelligence, and Manas is the mind. So the Upashaya, these are known as Upashaya deities. So once these are purified, the subtle elements are purified, in the shlokas of the prayer 36 to 43, offers respect to Lord in form of presiding deity of elements in order to purify these 5 gross elements, which is earth, air, water, akash, that is this empty spaces, fire. So 5 gross elements which constitutes the body and external senses. So now Shiva is offering the prayers for purification of those. So after this, the first purifying this body, senses, mind, by offering respects to the predominating deities, then Lord Shiva becomes himself qualified. Shiva is always qualified. But he says, hey, by praying this prayer, our body, mind, senses get purified, and now we are qualified to see the Lord. So he prays to see the Lord in 44 onwards. So that is the background of what Rudragis is till now. So coming to today's verse 4.24.43. So Shakti Traya Sametaya. So Shakti Traya Sametaya means Shakti Traya, three kinds of energies. So Lord is reservoirs of three kinds of energies. What are those? Adi Daiva, Adi Adhyatma, and Adi Bhauta. So Devatas, which are represented by Devatas, senses, elements. We would have heard of Tapatraya, the three miseries. So that is Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, and Adi Atmika. Adi Daivika is caused by the miseries caused by the demigods, floods, famine, tsunamis, earthquakes. You cannot control. You'll have to suffer from that. Adi Bhauta, Bhautika, suffering from others, neighbors, government, etc. So that is Adi Bhautika. And Adi Atmika is suffering from oneself. That is the senses. So, relating to that, so Shiva is telling Shakti Traya Sametaya. That means Shiva is praising the Lord, glorifying the Lord. Hey Lord, you are the reservoir of three energies. Adi Daiva, Adi Atma, Adi Bhauta. Everything is you residing in you. You are the source of everything. And you are the source of egotism also. So that is, as a Rudra, you control egotism. You are the presiding deity of that egotism. Source of egotism is Rudra. Rudra here refers, we will see subsequently, what is this? This Rudra is actually Lord Vishnu or Lord himself who is presiding over this. That means in a government, we have education department also, and we have prison department also. So there is a head who is taking care of the prison department, and there is a head who is taking care of education department. It may appear, okay, education department is higher and prison department is lower. But for government, both are important. Education department makes people forward, and prison department is there for people who go in a wrong path to punish. It doesn't mean that one is higher and one is lower, but we perceive that one is higher and one is lower. That is how, but source of egotism here is Rudra is there taking care of if you can call department of prison. The Lord also takes care of department of prison. In that way, there is no lower in that way, in absolute sense. So source of egotism, Midushe is Rudra, Hankratatmane. So he is controlling the false ego, the ego. Then Cheta Akuti Rupaya means form of knowledge and action. You are the knowledge, and from that knowledge, our action can be corrected. That is what here is saying. And you are the revealer of the Vedas. Vacho Vibhutaya, the sound vibration. The Vedas, initially when Brahma was doing the tapas after coming out from navel, the Vedas were revealed to him, and post that Brahma started creating. So Shiva is glorifying the Lord, saying you're the reservoir of the three energies, you're the source of egotism, you are the source of knowledge. Please give me that knowledge so that I can act in devotional service and purify my egotism, because you are the revealer of Vedas. So here is the gist of the prayer. May the Lord's mercy purify false egotism so that real egoism can be awakened. Aham Brahmasmi, the spirit soul performing devotional service or activities. That means the existence in this material world is due to false ego. The false ego, the ego that makes us think we are the center of everything. We are the cause of everything. Without me, nothing is there. I should be given respect. I should be the source, the only enjoyer. It is I. So that I is false ego. And this false ego is there. And this false ego presiding deities is Rudra. For that Rudra, I am praying so that you purify from false ego to real ego. What is real ego? Aham Brahmasmi. The two meanings of Aham Brahmasmi here. But here his prayer from Lord Shiva is saying Aham Brahmasmi. That means I am the spirit soul. And I involve in the activities that makes Lord you satisfied. Please make me satisfy you by performing devotional activities. So Prabhupada in the purport also is telling Aham Brahmasmi is the highest form of egotism. Highest form of egotism. Because Aham Brahmasmi, when the impersonalist tell Aham Brahmasmi, they mean I will also become Lord. I will also merge into Lord and become the Lord. There's no activity there of satisfying the Lord. I will also become the Lord. That's a topmost false ego. I am also the Lord. Okay. So that is not here what Shiva is telling. Prabhupada is clarifying the purport. Hey, that is an impersonal way of seeing things, and that is wrong. The highest form of false egoism is that. But the true egoism here, when Aham Brahmasmi, means please engage. I am the servitor of you, my Lord. Please engage me in the service of the Lord. So here Shiva is praying for, even though he is the presiding, taking control of a false ego in this material world, he prays so that that false ego should be purified and become real ego to awaken the spiritual consciousness. That is Aham Brahmasmi, soul performing devotional activities. So how Rudra comes into existence. That is how Rudra, that is Shiva, comes into existence is beautifully described in Bhagavatam. It is Canto 3, text 12. Canto 3, chapter 12, 7 to 20. Text 12, 7 to 20. Beautifully described, where all this concept of false ego or Rudra resides. Rudra is primarily the anger. Where does this anger reside? Let us see in detail how this component of Rudra is there. So Kumaras, the background is Kumaras have been created by Brahma. Okay. And Brahma instructs his father for Kumaras to go and create the progeny. But Kumaras, being very learned and know the purpose of the birth, the true purpose of the birth, they reject the order of Brahma and they say, we will not go on creation and get trapped in the material world. So they go off for performing tapa. And Brahma with this gets angry, very much anger. He tries to control the anger, but he cannot control. And then from that anger, in between his eyebrows, here we can see 3.12.7, even though he tried to curb his anger, the anger comes out between his eyebrows and the child mixed blue and red was immediately generated. So blue indicates ignorance and red indicates passion. Tamoguna and Rajoguna. So it's a product of this boy who came out. The eyebrows of Brahma was blue and red in color, signifying ignorance and passion. Product of ignorance and passion. The anger of Brahma came out in this format. And then we will see here, actually I've summarized we have taken the summary here. The child cries, hey, what, you give me the name and the place. Now I come out, what is my name and where I should reside? And Brahma says, you are Surashrestha. That means you are the best of the demigods. So if you see, there is hierarchy among demigods. Indra is the head of the demigods, and above him also Brahma is there, and above Brahma, Lord Shiva is there. He is Surashrestha, the best of them demigods. And his name will be Rudra. So that is how the name came, Rudra. Rudra means anger. Okay. And he gives where he should reside, he gives 7 places or 11 places, sorry. The heart, that is where the false ego is. The Rudra personified stays in the heart as false ego. And that is what Shiva is now praying to be purified. The heart, there is false ego. I am this, I am that, I want this, I want that. So that false ego is what Shiva is praying in today's sloka 43 to get purified. And where is that residing? That is residing in the heart. So false ego centric attitude of thinking oneself be all in all. So I am everything. I am the center. Krishna is not the center. I am the center of everything. So this, you can see, even the best of the sages get trapped into this false ego. For example, Durvasa Muni, who is learned, who knows the Vedas, who is a great sage, who has seen the Lord personally, also get trapped, get affected by this false ego. He thinks Ambarisha didn't respect me and curses Ambarisha. Do not think false ego will go off. False ego is very strong. It affected even Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni had to suffer the heat of Sudarshana Chakra, had to run helter-skelter everywhere, across the universe, across 14 planets, went to Kailasa, went to Brahmaloka, went to even Vaikunta. I was praying Vishnu, even Vishnu told, I can't placate it. It's only Ambarisha who can save you. So false ego affects everybody. And that is what Shiva is today praying in this prayer 43. What we are learning is praying, hey, please purify my false ego and reveal or awaken my true ego. So Rudra resides in heart as false ego. Rudra resides in senses. The anger in the heart is manifested through the senses. You can see the red eyes becoming red, tongue, biting the tongue, the cheeks bulging out. So it manifests, the anger that comes in heart manifests in the senses. The air, it also enters into the pranas, the pancha pranas. And when you see, whenever a man becomes angry, there is beating of heaviness. So in the pranas also it resides. In the senses it resides. In the sky it resides. You can see how the skies become dense. It pours like anything. Dense clouds, it becomes like thick clouds. On a bright afternoon, it becomes pitch dark or close to darkness. Once even skies, even anger resides in skies, anger resides in air, in form of winds that flows ferociously, wipes out anything it comes in the path. Water, when it gets flooded. Fire, when it devours everything. Earth, because from earth, all kinds of weapons come out. Okay, and all earthly creatures like tiger, snake are always in mode of that rajoguna, tamoguna, where it's in mode of anger, always anger. Even sun is anger is residing. Sun also gives us extreme heat at times, and people die of heart strokes. And moon also the anger resides. It becomes extreme cold, and due to that coldness, they'll die. And anger also resides in austerity, the tapas, which is performed without bhakti. So some yogis, philosophers, renouncers, as I gave an example, right? Durvasa Muni, always angry. Even Jamanagni is always angry. So that resides, even though I perform austerity, but without bhakti, if you perform, anger resides there. So you see, Brahma has given anger all the places. So anger, or the Raudra, will reside everywhere. It resides primarily in the heart of all living entities. And that comes out in senses, air, our environment, the Panchabhutas, everywhere this is residing. And Shiva knows this. And Shiva knows the root cause is my false ego. So, Lord, purify my false ego. That is what he's saying in this today's prayer. And then Brahma gives him 11 names. The 11 Rudras are Manyu, Manu, Mahinasa, Mahan, Shiva, Ritudvaja, Ugrareta, Bhava, Kala, Vamadeva, and Dhrutavata. It is told in Shloka 12. What are the 11 names of Rudra? Primarily, the predominant is Shiva. Shiva takes that. So there are 11 Rudras or 11 names of the Rudras. It's same. The blue and red boy who pops out appears or expands himself as 11 Rudras. And these are the 11 Rudras. Of the predominant is Lord Shiva. And along with that, each of the 11 Rudras have the 11 Rudranis. That is Dhi, Dhruti, Prasala, Uma, Niyut, Sarpi, Ila, Ambika, Iravati, Swada, and Diksha. So this is the Shakti or Parvati Devi or the Durga Devi taking as a Rudrani, wife of each one of them. So now Brahma instructs with these wives, you go and create the progeny. And Rudra starts creating the progeny. Okay, what kind of progeny is? The progeny will be same as his strength, form, and swabhava, the furious nature, the anger. The children who come out of this Rudras is also same his swabhava, same nature. And they come, they are also very much angry and they start destroying. And Brahma also gets frightened by this and goes to Shiva and tells, hey, there is no need. Okay, stop. You're creating the progeny which is destroying the world. No. You cool down and go and perform the austerity in the forest for well-being of the living beings. He asks Rudra to stop creation and then go. And Rudra or Shiva agrees and goes to forest to perform austerities. So this is in just how Rudra is created. So Rudra, the place is all the 11 places. 11 places is the entire universe. Wherever you see, the aspect of Rudra is there. That is the anger which destroys. So Shiva in means 43 shloka today, what we are learning, he's praying, purify the root cause of that anger, the false ego, which affects even the greatest of the greatest in this material world. Purify me. So in that way, Shiva is already awakened, he is purified, but in that way, he's giving instruction for Techas, start purifying your false ego. Indirectly, it is giving a message to us, hey, give a false ego. Give away the false ego by surrendering to God, and he will awaken the true ego of performing devotional service. Moving on, back to our Shloka 43. So to understand how false ego came into existence, where all it resides, and what all effects it causes. Now Shiva is telling, hey, purify my false ego so that rival ego awakens, so that I may be performing the devotional activities for you. So Shiva has a lot of qualities. If you see in the 4th canto itself, we have been seeing what are Shiva's qualities. And these qualities made him, because of these qualities, he came and appeared in front of Prachetas. These are Vaishnava qualities, what Shiva possesses. And Shiva is faultless. He's best among the gentle. Is Charachara Gurum, the spiritual master of the entire world. He takes that responsibility. So now Prachetas going in seeking, so for guiding them as their spiritual master, he appears. He's Guru. He appears to Prachetas and says, hey, take this instruction, recite this Rudragit, and you will attain the perfection. So he proactively comes in. His Atma Rama is always self-satisfied. There's no question externally he should be satisfied. He's always self-satisfied. Nirvairam, that means is without enemies. No enemies are there. Having a peaceful personality. I have given the reference there, which shloka and which canto this is explained. Having a peaceful personality. It's very peaceful. When you see pictures of Lord Shiva also, he's sitting on a stone and just closing his hand and meditating on his Lord. He also tells in who is meditating. Actually, Parvati in Vishnu Puran or in Vishnu Sahasranam, before that it is told, oh Lord, whom are you meditating on? I'm meditating on my Lord Rama, he says. So he's satisfied in himself, non-envious. He's not envious to anybody. You have seen how he grants boons to demons. He's not envious of demons or the devatas. He treats them equally. And Amartya, he doesn't have death. Having no rival, there is nobody he can rival. Priyatatma, most beloved, free from all enmity. Even Daksha, we saw in the fourth, in the early chapters of fourth, Daksha is insulting him to the core, and still he never thinks of him as an enemy. He just walks out of that sabha place. No, he doesn't take any insult because he's already elevated. He's the greatest Mahatatmaha. He's the greatest person. And he, in devotees, he even magnifies even small qualities. One small quality, he takes that and magnifies. And that's a learning we have to take from Lord Shiva. We do not find faults, but take one good quality in a person and magnify that. That is what Shiva does. And Shiva is having pure fame, and nobody who really get instructions, as we see Prachetas who gets instructions, never neglect his order, and continues. Is friend of all living entities, is worshipped by great sages, is expert in battle, is grave, is serious and saintly, is a master of senses, is a Dhira. So when you see, he is a controller. When the Kama comes and fires the arrows from a sugarcane bow, he did not fall down to senses. He just wiped out the Kama. He's himself the Krodha, so he wiped out the Kama only. So he's a friend of whole world. He takes the poison which comes out of the ocean of milk during Samudra Manthan. He takes out happily for the benefit of the living entities. He takes that and drinks it without anything. So he's friend of the old world. He always cares for the whole world. And once you see Lord Shiva, he brings auspicious. When he remembers Lord Shiva, he brings auspiciousness for everybody. He's the most auspicious Mangala. That's why Shiva's literal naming is most auspicious. And rest of the benedictions, that is what we are seeing. So Prachetas are going for spiritual, and he awards the benediction, the best of the benediction, where they can see the Supreme Personality Lord by giving them the Rudragit. And very kind-hearted, Anukrosha Rudaya, very kind-hearted. And that is where he comes in front of Prachetas. Even though they are not praying Shiva, they come because very kind-hearted. Hey, these people are going and seeking the Lord. I should help them. And definitely he's a great devotee. We will see in this next chapter, or this chapter is great devotee of Narayana. So because of that Vaishnava quality, the greatest Vaishnava, Lord Shiva is known as. So this makes him, these qualities makes him come in front of Prachetas, guide them in a clear instruction by singing Rudragit. And with those instructions, we can also learn, hey, from Lord Shiva, taking that Rudragit, how to purify our subtle element, Chitta, Ahankara, Buddhi, Manas, and purify the grass elements, and then be ready to see the Lord. So I'll conclude by saying, what are the key learnings? So like Prachetas, who are 10,000 of them, who are cooperating with each other flawlessly. There is absolutely no fights, no war. The brothers, we have seen now in this Kali Yuga, which is very degraded, how 2 or 3 brothers can't live together. But 10,000 brothers who were having full opulence. His father was the emperor of the whole world, and still they went out in seeking the spiritual path. And during the process, they cooperated with each other very nicely. And Lord, when he comes in front of Prachetas, personally tells us, hey, I'm very attracted to your cooperativeness that you have demonstrated. So they left anger, envy, jealousy, everything they leave. So Shiva is today telling, hey, the false ego, the root cause of anger, that is what you purify. And they chant this Rudragit for thousands of years and they purify that anger. So we should also try to purify that anger, envy, jealousy. We should leave all that aside. And ISKCON is a big organization. It's a big movement. So we should start cooperating with each other like Prachetas does. And what it should lead to, we should feel happy for success of others. That is very important. Prachetas were happy for success of others. That is Krishna consciousness. That is false ego is, we are actually jealous, envy, angry at seeing the success of others. We want only us to succeed, only me to succeed. And rest all others should be slaves of me. That is not here. We should feel happy. That is Krishna consciousness. That is consciousness. That is what purifying false ego means. The gopi bhav, that is attracting to Krishna, satisfying to Krishna, satisfying to his devotees. Happy for success of others. More and more the devotees progress, we should feel more and more happiness. And what it will do, we should develop this quality of cooperativeness, leaving anger, envy, jealousy, and feeling happy for others. The mercy of the Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and the Parampara will flow. The mercy will flow, and the movement grows. You see, when a lot of devotees follow this, the Lord, as in case of Prachetas, he will be happy, very much happy. And he will actually benedict. He will take forward the movement. And we see immense progress. And that golden age will come where everybody is Krishna conscious. So Prachetas are teaching us this, how to cooperate, and with that, thereby attracting even Lord Shiva in giving the instruction. So if we follow this, even we follow this in this age, it will attract the mercy of the Acharyas, and we will see progress for our movement and also personally to us. So with that, I conclude today's class. Ready to take any questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the wonderful and elaborate description on this verse, especially the origin of Lord Shiva and his 11 names and what he represents and the great qualities he possesses. And lastly, you have left us with very good practical instructions on how to go beyond the false ego or to set aside the false ego. Thank you again. Devotees can unmute themselves to share any reflections, or if they have any questions, please ask.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavad pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. It was really nectar in terms of getting the qualities of Lord Shiva as well as the place where he resides in terms of anger. Prabhu, I just had one question. Lord Krishna is, Lord Shiva is auspicious, the Param Vaishnava and everything. So when he is like that, why does the place wherever he resides become a mode of anger? I mean, how do I understand that? If you could just elaborate that point.
Yeah, sure, very good question. Wherever, it is not that wherever Shiva resides, there is anger. Shiva resides in a place where anger is there. That means, that's what the example I was giving. There is a department of prison, okay, and there is a jailer who is taking care of the prison. What kind of people come to prison? Only thugs, criminals only come. Just because jailer is taking care of that prison doesn't mean jailer is a criminal. So all the people who are having this quality of anger will be in that department of prison, will be assigned that department. Incidentally, Shiva is the head of the department. So it appears that, hey, wherever Shiva is there, there is anger, but it is not the case. Wherever the anger people are there, Shiva is there to take care of them. So that is the perspective what we should change. Prabhu. Hopefully it addresses.
Yeah, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. So we should not think, hey, Shiva is in mode of ignorance. No, Shiva is not in mode of ignorance. Shiva heads the department of mode of ignorance, because in this living entity, all modes, the living entities are there in all modes. So there should be a head who takes care of mode of ignorance, and Shiva gracefully accepts that, because we saw one quality is benefitor for all. That's why he drank poison also. So Shiva is one person who takes all reject. Actually, other people reject. I don't want to take care of these people who are in mode of ignorance. But Shiva agrees, I will take care in the people in the mode of ignorance. And that's where you see Bhutas, the Ganas, the Pretatmas follow Shiva for the mercy, and he benedicts them. And no other person, apart from the Lord himself, is willing to take this responsibility.
So Prabhu, the followers of Rudra who worship him that way, so can we take that they also will be in that mode of anger only because they are worshipping Rudra? So when you're worshipping Rudra, then is it not that, their heart will be filled with that in terms of anger and everything?
The motive of them, what is the motive of them? Because even Ravana worshipped Shiva and got benedicted, but the motive was wrong. Right? So whoever, Shiva primarily is a Vaishnava. He is a perfect Vaishnava. So he gets pained when people are not following the path of the spiritual path. But due to he being Ashitosha, being satisfied very quickly and being very compassionate to the jivas, he awards them whatever is needed by them. How they use it is left to them. Now, Rudra, Shiva gave instruction to Patetas. How they used it in a good way, the right way. But Ravana and others, like Bhasmasura, used it in a wrong way. So it's a motive that determines, not Shiva who determines that. So not all followers of Shiva are in mode of anger. No, it is not. Because great saints worship Lord Shiva and they are in mode of goodness. Prachetas worship Shiva and their mode of goodness, they saw the Lord. Not all the devotees of Shiva are in mode of ignorance. They are in mode of goodness also. Examples like
yeah, because I was just recollecting, Durvasa Muni also, he is a certainly worshipper of Shiva, and he was very, very angry for everything he'll give us. And I was just trying to relate and say maybe because they are worshipping in that mood of that, so maybe are they, bestowed with those qualities because predominantly they worship. That's why I just had this question.
Okay. So that's a false ego manifestation. That is what the heart.
Yeah, that's right. It's a false ego.
Yeah, it's a false ego. It's not worshipping of Shiva, you become angry. No, it's a false ego in them manifesting. That's where Shiva is also praying here. Hey, that false ego should be purified and become real ego. That is what he is showing us.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. That's why sometimes, some of the students, they try to enact the negative qualities of their teachers than the positivity. Like they try to pose, like we have some of the professors and their students, they take the negative aspects of the teacher, but not the positive aspect. As Prabhu has said, Durvasa Muni, because he was praying and he was angry, but Shiva has got 101 good qualities. That's not been highlighted. And the best part of your lecture I liked was to have cooperation with each other. We can do wonders if we have cooperation among ourselves.
Yes, truly agree, Mataji. Cooperation. That is what Prachetas, why Prachetas chapter has come in Srimad Bhagavatam is at least I don't know other instance of other example of cooperation. Prachetas are cooperating so much. That's where Lord himself also tells, hey, I was attracted by your cooperation. Prabhupada also stresses very much, hey, devotees, you should cooperate, then only our movement will flow or expand. So this is a great example. We should follow Pracheta. Thanks, Mataji, for your comment.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Dandavat Pram. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
Very wonderful class, Prabhuji. You have taken so much trouble. Prabhuji, from your lecture, I understand that when Rudra was born, he was full of anger. But later on, Brahma sends him to do tapas.
Correct.
So I think now he is free from all anger and all bad qualities. No, Prabhu. He has become auspicious now.
No, Shiva doesn't have any bad qualities. That conclusion we should not come. Shiva doesn't have any bad qualities. So once the anger Brahma, because of Kumara's rejected, Brahma was angry, and Shiva comes out of eyebrows of Brahma, and Brahma instructs Shiva to create, and the creation, what he creates, the progeny that comes out of Shiva and his wife also have the same swabhava, means that angerness will get passed on to them and they start destroying. But Shiva as such doesn't have any bad quality. Shiva is not always angry. No. Because Brahma was angry, that mood flowed into that. That's all. So you should understand, Shiva is in charge of anger, but he is not anger himself. So you should differentiate that. That's a subtle differentiation is there. So many people have this maybe difficulty in that. Again, I go back to prison example. He's head of the prison department. That doesn't mean he himself is prisoner. No. So Shiva doesn't have any bad qualities, and Shiva doesn't have anything against anybody. But here Brahma, once he starts creating progeny, his progeny also has the same swabhava. So Brahma has to stop. Okay, now if you start creating progeny, they will destroy the universe. That will come after only the Mahapralaya. So you stop creation, go and perform the austerity.
So only his progeny was
yes,
like
the progeny gets his swabhava. That is what is explained in Bhagavata.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank
you for the nice class and repeated clarifications of all the doubts, Prabhu. Very nicely you clarified the position of Shiva, which is neither Vishnu Tattva nor Jiva Tattva. It is in between. You have repeatedly clarified all the these doubts about the being angry, Shiva being angry. So you have clarified it very nicely, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
I think there are no questions, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. We can end with Vaishnava pranams.
Chakalpataru Vascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanendyo Vaishnavendyo Namo Anantakoti. Thank you all. Yeah. Have a good day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We'll conclude here. We'll meet again.